Stop scrolling. This is one of the most disturbing political stories in America right now. A U.S. citizen, unarmed, shot and killed by federal agents during an immigration operation. And here's the part that's driving people insane online. The official story does not match the video evidence. This isn't just about immigration. This isn't just about politics. This is about power, accountability, and what happens when federal force meets ordinary people. By the end of this video, you'll understand why Americans across the political spectrum are angry, and why this story could change immigration enforcement forever. Let's start with the person at the center of this storm. Alex Preddy was 37 years old, a trained ICU nurse, a U.S. citizen, someone who spent his life saving others. On January 24th in Minneapolis, Preddy found himself near a federal immigration operation, one of many aggressive enforcement actions happening across the country. According to witnesses, he wasn't hiding, he wasn't running, he wasn't threatening anyone. He was filming federal agents on his phone, something Americans are legally allowed to do. Minutes later, Alex Preddy was dead, shot by a federal agent. That single moment lit a fuse that hasn't stopped burning. Now let's talk about the official version. The Department of Homeland Security claims federal agents attempted to detain Preddy during the operation. They say he resisted. They say he posed a threat. They say an agent believed deadly force was necessary. This is the standard language we've heard before. Officer feared for their life. Split-second decision. Tragic, but justified. But here's the problem. The internet saw the video. Within hours, multiple videos flooded social media, different angles, different phones, different witnesses, and what people saw did not look like the official story. In the footage, Preddy appears to be holding a phone. He is not visibly armed. He is recording agents. He is pepper sprayed. He is tackled. And then gunfire. That's the moment outrage exploded, because once people believe they are being lied to, trust collapses instantly. And this wasn't just activists reacting. This went viral on TikTok, Reddit, Instagram, X. Even normally apolitical spaces, people who never comment on politics were suddenly asking the same question. Why was lethal force used at all? This story struck a nerve for one simple reason. People saw themselves in Alex Preddy. If filming federal agents is dangerous, if being near an enforcement operation is deadly, if explanations change after the fact, then who is actually safe? And remember, this was not an isolated incident. This was the second fatal federal shooting in Minneapolis in weeks. That pattern matters, because patterns suggest policy, not accidents. The political reaction was immediate and explosive. Minnesota officials called the shooting unnecessary and preventable. Members of Congress from both parties demanded transparency. Even some Republicans, normally supportive of aggressive enforcement, said this crossed a line. Meanwhile, calls began to grow for independent investigations, federal agent withdrawals, congressional hearings, and even impeachment of DHS leadership. This is no longer about one shooting. This is about whether federal immigration enforcement has lost control. Minneapolis erupted. Protests filled the streets. Crowds chanted for justice. Demands grew louder. But at the same time, another argument emerged. Supporters of enforcement said, agents face real danger. Immigration laws must be enforced. Violence isn't one-sided. And this is where America split. Again, two truths colliding. Safety and security, civil liberties and restraint. And when the federal government holds all the power, the margin for error becomes deadly. This story is far from over. Here's what's already happening behind the scenes. Lawsuits are being prepared. Body cam footage is under demand. Congress is discussing oversight reforms. Immigration operations may change nationwide. This case could redefine use of force rules, limit federal operations in cities, force transparency laws, or escalate tensions even further. What happens next depends on public pressure, because silence is permission. So here's the real question. Was this a justified enforcement action, or was it a tragic example of power without accountability? Watch the footage, read the reports, decide for yourself, and then ask this. If this can happen to him, could it happen to anyone? Comment below, subscribe, share this video. Because stories like this only change things when people refuse to look away.